Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the natural gas, gold, silver, and the US dollar update. And I did the stock market update yesterday. So if you guys are looking for that, we did the S&P 500 QQQ, Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta analysis yesterday. So make sure to check that video out. And let's get started. So we're looking at natural gas first, NG ticker on the daily time frame. So we'll be looking at support and resistance levels for all of these, as well as what's the most likely scenario they'll be heading into next week for their price action. So we had a break above this downtrending resistance line this week. You can see resistance, and we broke above on Tuesday, but we came back into it. So for me, that's a break with no follow through, because if we go to the weekly time frame, it just looks like a big upper wick, right? So we're technically still a rejection. So we zoom out the bigger picture, it's pretty much a rejection from that 2.86 level. You can see we're rejecting here, twice here, another time here, and another time here. So I've been rejecting there from 5 times, and now we're just in a big chop zone. So you can see the bottom of this support. You can see this zone right here at 2.54 and 2.86. So just been chopping around here for, let's see how many weeks that we've been since June 20th. It's been a while. You can see we've just been going down, up and down here, and going nowhere at the moment. So we're pretty close to the end of the pattern of this side wedge looking pattern. So when we break out of that, I want to see us get more follow through on the upside, so we can break 2.86. So let's go to the daily to get more information here. So this is a daily uptrend here, confirming right here, and then we came back right to the pivot. So the pivot is at 2.6, and we are at 2.61. So we did not break the pivot yet by by a penny, just pretty much. Don't break that pivot. Let's see, 2.6. Actually, we broke it 2.595. So we broke it by half a penny, pretty much. So for me, that's a double bottom. We'll call it still in an uptrend as long as that holds. Although we're starting to shape up a little bit of a head and shoulders look. So if we bounce and then we reject from 2.75, right, we start to form that head and shoulders. So this is the left shoulder, this is the head, and this is the right shoulder. If we reject from that 2.75 level, anywhere between here and here, it doesn't have to be exactly. The idea of a head and shoulders, for psychology of it's just from an uptrend going into the downtrend, because you can see big enough move, make a new pivot, and if it breaks that low, now it's back to a downtrend. So that's the psychology of head and shoulders. It doesn't have to be a perfect looking picture drawing textbook head and shoulders. It just means idea of it from an uptrend to a downtrend. So we'll be watching for that to see if it happens. If that doesn't happen, then the chances of us potentially retest this 2.86 is higher, as trend is still intact technically. So we'll see about that. Let's see here on the hourly, it's a bit choppy here. Let's see. Yeah, big enough move, drop, pivots. We have to break above this high, so we have to break above this 2.681 high for us to confirm the hourly uptrend back to bulls favor. Do that here, and it's good. It's safe to say that bulls did play defense at 2.6 at this pivot here. So the quadruple bottom on the hourly. If we break above this 2.68 level and confirm the hourly uptrend back to bulls favor, and then potentially head higher to come back to this 2.75 level. You guys know that I talk about the hourly trend is also always the first thing that I want to see flip, because now it's an hourly downtrend, right? So if we flip to the bull side, then we can potentially say this could be the temporary bottom for this move down. It does make sense because bulls definitely want to play defense here, because if we break here, then we are making room for potentially bears to confirm a daily downtrend now, because this drop is already big enough. 9% drop. Definitely a lot of room for on the next bounce where bears can confirm downtrends here. Let's see. The size of this bounce is going to be very key. I want to see as negate a bear flag. We are still in a bear flag territory at the moment on the daily. As long as we don't bounce 38.2% of the initial move. So this is a drop, right? A to B drop from top to the bottom is 100% drop. And we need to bounce 38.2% of that 100% move. Then we'll negate the bear flag. Ideally, above the 50%, we want to bounce half of that drop. Then we'll be able to have room for confirm daily uptrends. So we'll see about size of the bounce. It's going to be very key here. If that breaks, we're looking back down to this uptrending mirror looking support zone. If 2.62 breaks, then we'll be looking close to 2.57-ish level here, because that's been holding for quite a while. Bounce, 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 bounce. So that's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come back down here again, probably bounce for 7 times. But if it breaks, then we'll probably get increasing bear volume if that breaks. Have to watch out for that going into later next week. Take a look at UNG here. Let's see. UNG actually held decently, dropped less than Natgas, and holding pretty much at the 6.64, 63 zone, which is this zone right here. You can see all the supports we have here. Supports. And we're below it. You can see we act as resistance, and we're above it. It's act as support. So right now we are above that price level, so it will act as support. And if we break that, there's really nothing that much under here. So if we break this level, we're probably coming down to this bottom of this falling wedge. This is a falling wedge. So that's the resistance. And you can see there's a support. We have been bouncing off of that for 5 times. If that gas ends up coming down to this uptrending support wedge, and UNG will very likely come down to this falling wedge support zone as well. Have to see if they're going to be able to hold 2.62, and this would want to hold 6.63. Yeah, and if we bounce, we're very likely coming down to test this 6.79, which is also a very key level. Many bounces here at support and resistance. But pretty much this zone and this zone is like the center of top zone and the bottom zone. So we want to be above the center of that zone for us to have more action. And yeah, and we'll probably come, if we break that, we're coming back up to test this falling wedges resistance, which so far has been rejected 4 times. This is also a rejection too, so roughly 5 times. Of that, let's go to the hourly chart and see if we get any. Okay, so pretty close to confirming a hourly uptrend here. Big enough bounce, pull back, bulls play defense, made a higher low. Higher low means the pivot of the low is higher than the prior low. That's why it's called a higher low, because it's the low, and it's higher. And we want to see a higher high, meaning the next high is going to be higher than this high for us to come from a hourly uptrend back to bull's favor here. And if Natgas does that, UNG will very likely does it, and we will see us form that hourly uptrend. And we'll be safe to say that this would be the temporary bottom of this drop. All right, let's take a look at gold. All right, see here. Okay, back test. Interesting. So we got a breakout of this downtrending channel resistance. You can see rejection here like 7 times, another 5 times here, another 2 times here. And we broke out of it here on Monday. Went above, came to this cluster of resistance where we have rejected also 5 times. You can see this level. And we came back retest this downtrending resistance. So it was acting as prior resistance. So now that the price is above it, so it should act as support. So it did. So we did bounce off of that. It's retest, good sign. And we bounced. So far, not a notable bounce, but we did backtest and bounce off of that. So far, it's a good sign. And let's take a look on the hourly, what happened there. So retest that level, rejection, back down, hourly downtrend, bulls play defense, back tested. And now we are back to a hourly uptrend. So that's a good sign. So we will see if hourly uptrend continues. That will be our guide. And for the short-term trade, and let's see if it comes back up to test this area again. This 1940 and 1946 resistance zone would be what I will be looking at. And daily uptrend, not yet here. Okay, so this is a daily downtrend here. And then we negated that. So now we're in a neutral trend. Big enough bounce. Now we bounce here, form the pivot here. So that's the higher low of higher than this low. But we need a higher high. So we need to break above that 1947.36 right there for us to come from a daily uptrend back to bull's favor. And if they can do that, then we're looking back up to 1962. All right, let's take a look at the dollar. Still strong, okay, but it's getting a little bit slower than it was moving up now. Pretty much sitting right at key resistance zone, very key. This 105.58 right there. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Couldn't get over it twice at this moment. Look at the bigger picture to see if there's anything. I'll go on the weekly. I don't see much on the weekly here. Yeah, just been weekly straight up. Hasn't even have one weekly consolidation yet. You can see every single candle is above the prior candles, just straight up, except this mini one right here. Actually, let's zoom in here. So this one went slightly below it by a tiny bit, so you can call that a higher low and form a weekly uptrend here. But yeah, doesn't really matter that much with that because the daily uptrend is our guide. Continue to bounce off of this teal looking line. That's a 12 EMA exponential moving average. Type in 12. You can see every time we get there, we bounce it off of it. We're still bouncing off it, and daily uptrend is still intact. As long as daily uptrend is intact, bulls are in full control. Except we just hit key resistance, so it could reverse here, but we don't want to be guessing because we could have said that down here as well, right? We could have said, oh, 105 down here is key resistance as well, and maybe it would have reversed, which it did. We get a big candle, but trend is still intact because we didn't break above the prior pivot. So the uptrend is still intact, and every time we pull back, it's still continuing the uptrend. So we could pull back here as well. But as long as the pullbacks are not big enough where bears can scout a lower high to cover daily downtrends, then bulls are in full control. So I want to be guessing that just because here it has key resistance, you could short it, but you just want a really tight stop loss in case it breaks above it. But just don't take too many of those kind of trades because you get done here, and then you guys get stopped out, and you get done here, you get stopped out, and you get done here, you get stopped out. So hourly trend will be our guide. If we get an hourly downtrend here, then we can more safely say this is a key resistance and a rejection. But as of now, bulls are still in striking distance, right? We just have to go up like 0.15%. We're back retesting this area again. So bulls are still in striking distance and trend is still in their favor. So we don't want to be running into a bull trend phase right at this moment. But yeah, but the dollar is a headwind for metals. So if it keeps going up, it's also a headwind for the markets. Silver bounced today. Came up to this resistance pretty much, 26.76. And despite the dollar being pretty strong, I would say relative performed decently. Outperformed, hit resistance, so now it's a little bit weaker. So I have to see. It was still in striking distance. Hourly uptrend is our guide. Hourly uptrend is intact. And daily uptrend is also intact. Big bounce. There's a pivot set. Broke above the part high right there. Now daily uptrend is confirmed. The big picture, we're still looking at this downtrending resistance line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And sideways support, so just a big triangle for big picture. It will likely chop around within the zone for quite some time into probably November or October. So we'll see about that. Very clear, big picture overall. Yeah, no fake outs on the big picture here. All right, that's all I got for you guys. And if you guys want to check out the stock market video, it's posted yesterday. And if you have to subscribe, like, and share if you guys learn anything, or they're always appreciated. And I will see you guys on Monday for a stock market update video and another commodities update video. And if you guys want to support the channel, feel free to click the join button below. And I do members only videos every Sunday. And you guys get to pick top 5 stock picks to get analyzed on. So yeah, so currently I think there's only like 2 or 3 people that joined. So everybody gets picked because there's only 3 choices, right? So you can request your own tickers to get a look at. All right, have a good rest of you guys' weekend.